open educational resources, a win-win situation for all. My name is Lucia Taylor. I teach at Utah Tech University in Southern Utah. We're going to be talking about who our first and second year and first and second semester students are at their university. How did we get here in this situation that we currently are? We decided to go for OER, so now what? How do we deal with that? And then I'm gonna present what we're gonna be doing in the future and specifically our next semester. So first of all, who are our students? We as a state in Utah, we have a language requirement for all our Associate of Arts and Bachelor of Arts. An Associate of Art has a requirement of 8 credits, which is first year of learning language or modern language. And our Bachelor of Arts has a requirement of 16 credits, which equals 2 years of language studies. In addition to these, our education programs at the university have also a language requirement. So all our education program students need to complete at least 1 semester of modern language. We also have a Spanish emphasis, a minor, and a major. And we find that in our first and second year courses, we usually get students who are supposed to be on those courses, but also have students who are trying to cheat the system in the sense of being heritage speakers trying to get an easy A, or return missionaries who want to come into a lower division course. We actively engage with these students and encourage them to move into upper division courses. None of our lower division courses are open for students who have an extensive experience in the language prior to taking the course. So what problems did we found when talking about this situation of the textbooks? Well, first we found that the prices were expensive. We were using Tumundo, and it's not just any specifically issue with Tumundo, because it's something that we've seen with other textbooks. They were expensive for the students. We had students waiting to get the textbook to get their financial aid, so they were missing maybe 2 or 3 weeks of class if they didn't have access to the textbook. And the main issue that we had was the contents that we were finding in the books. There was a misalignment between our own course learning outcomes, what we were expecting our students to be able to do at the end of these courses, and the content that was in the textbook. Because the textbook was so expensive, we were feeling the need or the moral thing to say, like, we need to cover from front to cover this textbook. We were aiming for a novice high at the end of the first year, maybe an intermediate low with really superb students. So we were always wondering, why are we pushing subjunctive, for example, or more of these expense or higher order things that students were not capable of learning. And this was creating a big frustration in our students, because we had really smart, hard work students who were not able to grasp this information. And we were aware there's enough research out there to show us that students were not ready to face all the information that was in those textbooks. So we set some goals for us as a program or a group of faculty in Spanish. We decided to change our textbooks. We were looking at OER options out there, open educational resources that will fit our goals, our current course learning outcomes, and the budgets that we were looking for, basically nothing. And we decided to adopt and adapt for our first semester, and then adapt and create for our second semester, trying to get our students back into enjoying our classes and enjoying learning about other languages and cultures. So we met to discuss this OER adoption. We produced new ideas. We closely review our alignment between our course learning outcomes and our program learning outcomes. And then we created a document for 1010 and 1020 where we were basically designing it was like a wish list. What would we want our students to be able to learn through these 2 semesters that would make sense for our situation, for our kind of students, and that would fit somehow with our course learning outcomes, even though in Spanish 1020 we're going a little bit beyond that, what is expected in our course learning outcomes. So we created this document. The first one is everything that we wanted to find in our Spanish Ideal 1010 course. We focus on grammar points, content, things, structure issues that we were finding moving forward. Same thing with Novice High. And then we found one book on Pressbooks that was having good information. We kind of cataloged, or we color coded in green everything that we would be using for 1010, things in brown or orange that will be matching our 1020 ideal situations. And then we wanted to learn how to use H5P to create interactive stuff that will make things more fun for the students. We use Pressbooks, as I was saying. It's something that we found online, and there's also an option that we had through our university's library. It didn't cost us anything. It's kind of user-friendly. Once you start playing with it, it's good to use. And the good thing that we have with Pressbooks is that you can create a new book, something brand new. So I'm working also on an Introduction to Spanish Linguistics course, and I'm working on a Pressbook, an OER for it. And then it could be something barely brand new, just something that you are creating from scratch, but you can also clone a book. So if there's any book out there that has OER format and that you want to use for your own class, you can clone it, because you can, once it's cloned, you can modify it in a sense that will fit your own needs. So you can add information, you can remove information, you can create new stuff, delete some stuff, you can move it around, so you can follow whatever order works better for you and your situation. So this is what we did for Spanish 1010. We checked the options out there, we selected one, we adapted what we found, and we're trying it this semester. We created this, this is the beginning, and that's the link. So if you click on it, you can go to that link. Okay, so this is the main website, and you can read the book. I'm not signed in right now. You see how it's something that we cloned. So Germán Gutierrez was the owner, and this is some of the things that we were using. We found a second book that we also liked and that we decided to use. So it was like a mash of both books that we found. I'm currently not teaching this course. Some of my colleagues are, but we're gonna get into it in a little bit more in the next slide. So when you move into Spanish 1020, in this case, what I decided, because I was the only one teaching it, it's just one section. We have 22 students, so I thought that it was a good time to just try to do something else. Since my colleagues were doing Spanish 1010 and they were moving things around, it was hard for me to keep track of what I had missed or what I have moved around, what they were moving around. So all these courses were being created as they were being taught, and it was hard to find a good way of not compromising what we were doing. So what I decided was just to create a brand new book. It was something that it will be original and using online materials that I had found throughout the years, and I thought that they were good for my students. And this is the book. So once you go into it, you see the same idea. You have to read the book, and over here in the contents you have how I'm setting it up. So right now we are on week 8. So there's all of this is something that is ready. So I started by week what I wanted them to do. Everything is in Spanish mostly. They get like more traditional thing there. And I also created activities that they will be able to drag and drop those H5P that the students find more interested to do when they're doing homework at home and they don't spend much time on these things in class, so they can spend more time actually talking. I use many of the YouTube verbs with presentations so the students can find them if they're not clear on what I've explained, if they wanted some extra materials. Ed puzzles, games, I created kind of find the words, crosswords, things like that. These basically substituted the traditional textbook in combination with our Canvas, which is our LMS, our learning management system, where they had like PowerPoints and other information that I was providing to them. This is something that the students so far that I think are enjoying. They're creating it with me. They're telling me there's something that is not working for us. Maybe you can do it this way, or they let me know this activity where you have to drag and drop is not working for me. And it's also a way of discovering how the students can be owning their own language per process. So this is what we're doing now, but what's next? So our idea is to survey our students. We are surveying our students at the end of this current semester. We have students in 1010 who are brand new to OERs. They haven't had any other experience with a traditional textbook. We have students in 1020 who in the first semester in 1010, they used a traditional textbook. We have students who are retaking these courses, so they've had both experiences using a traditional textbook and using OERs that we're creating, tailoring it to their needs. So we're really interested in knowing what their thoughts are, if this is something that is working for them, that is solving some of those problems that we've viewed of that or that we mentioned previously. We're definitely going to reuse OERs that we have adapted and created this semester. We're going to do a change, so one of the instructors that is teaching 1010 this semester will take 1020 using my OER, and I will take his 1010 OER. I'll try to organize it and make it look more like a cohesive book rather than a mixed combination of two other books. I'm going to teach 1010 because my experience with creating this 1020 from scratch has allowed me to make new H5P activities. I've learned how to modify stuff, and I think it's aesthetically more engaging for the students than what they have in 1010. And then at the end of the year, we are going to reevaluate and decide from there. At the end of every academic year, we have a meeting and we write end of the year report to decide what our next steps for the program are. We are basically closing the loop. Those of you that are familiar with assessment know that term. Where we basically decide based on what we're observing during this academic year, if there's something that we can do to improve our programs and to offer a better service for our students to share with you guys today. If anyone has any questions, suggestions, if you want to have access to the book, if you want to make or give me ideas of what to do, if you want to just get in touch, just scan this QR code and you'll get to my business card so you can get in touch with me. Thank you.